Hi, Holmes families. It's Christine Zelaya.
And Marianne Rayfield.
And this week we are going to be sharing with you our update on our school improvement plan efforts for this school year since we've had our second benchmark assessments.
And so for our podcast today, or listening or watching, whatever you're doing with us, just to go over our agenda of what we're going to do. We're just going to review our school improvement goals with you. We're going to share where we are now and then how we are going to continue to focus on these goals as we come wrap up this school year. We only have a couple more
I
months.
cannot believe that it is
It
mid
is.
February. January flew by.
I know.
Usually it goes really slow, but it
We're
is.
almost halfway to
I know
February.
this year is going, we're already starting to plan for
I
next year,
know.
which is crazy. So we have four goals to
Mhm.
remind you. And each school in the district does have four goals. Our first goal that we're going to talk about with you today is our English language arts goal. And so we were looking at how our proficiency is with IAR. Now we won't have our current this year's IAR results till like later in the summer,
Mhm.
but we are made our goal based on our previous year's proficiency, which was 49%. And so there is a correlation between how students perform on the MAP assessment and how students perform on IAR.
Mhm.
When we're looking at students who are at that college and career readiness of a 70% or higher, they're expected to meet IAR
Okay.
with a score of a 4 or a 5, which is that meets or exceeds on IAR.
Okay.
So our threshold for that, our goal was set at 63%. Miss Rayfield, can you share a little bit about our goals?
Yes.
Or where we are,
Yeah.
rather?
So obviously, if you are looking at the screen, you can see it. But if you're just listening, we are currently at 81% of our students are on grade level based on NWA MAP, which just means they're at that 50th percentile and they're exactly where we want them to be. And 81%, that is so exciting.
That is,
The teachers, and we've shared some of this information with some of our students. Like, it is just such a wonderful number to hear. And then for students that are projected again to score a 4 or 5 or at the 70th percentile or above, right now 66% of our kids, which is again already surpassing the goal that we set for the end of the year. So
yes.
that's super exciting.
Yes, we are doing really well with our English language arts goal and have surpassed
Yes.
the thresholds that we have set. Let's take a look at our math goal. So for math, we had a goal of 44% for our IAR proficiency. And then our threshold for that MAP to IAR correlation was 56%. And Ms. Rayfield, where are we now?
Yay! 75% of our students are at grade level, again, that 50th percentile or above based on our MAP testing. And 54% are meeting that math MAP threshold at this current time. So again, we're meeting and exceeding our goals for the end of the year, and it's really exciting. Coming out of the pandemic, coming out of everything that's been going on, knowing that both our teachers and students are working so hard to achieve these goals and really make sure our kids are college and career ready.
They are working so hard. So some of the things that we're really focusing on as we work to achieve our goals is really comes down to our practices and being intentional with the work that we're doing. So we really look at our many different levels of data of our students, from their daily exit tickets in the classroom to their end of unit assessments to their iReady diagnostic. And if our families listen to our last week's episode, we talked all about iReady and how we're using that. But that also is a great diagnostic tool
Mm-hmm.
to really tell us what students are where their strengths are, and then
Mm-hmm.
where some other opportunities are, what other needs they have. But we're really using that data to inform our instruction and to
Mm-hmm.
really differentiate and target exactly what our students are needing.
Mm-hmm.
And so this has been a growth area of ours as a school for the last couple of years, and we are making some great headway in our
Mm-hmm.
differentiating and really meeting the needs of our students.
And our teachers are being very intentional with the data that they are receiving from lots of different forms from our students, in being really intentional in their lesson design to make sure that they're incorporating that small group instruction to target the strengths and the areas of growth for all of our students, but also to really capitalize on those engagement strategies that are really important to support students in growing. And some of those intentional planning of strategies are for student discourse, and then also project-based learning, so that kids are engaged because they're learning about things that they're actually interested in and that they care about.
Marian, can you explain
Mhm.
what we mean when we say student discourse? What is it that we are
Yeah,
talking about for our
yeah.
families so they know?
Well, so I guess, Christine and I grew up in generations of going to school where it's a lot of sit and get, right? And you sit and listen, and the teachers have all the wisdom and they share it with us.
They impart it on
Yes,
us, and we are their sponges, and we take it
yes,
all in. Yeah.
yes. And we know now, through a lot of brain research, that is not how we learn best. And so student discourse strategies are really putting the heavy lift back on our students and asking our students to do the cognitive load of thinking through and processing and synthesizing information, obviously with supports
Hmm.
from the teacher, but really allowing students to experience some of that cognitive dissonance and some of the um, opportunities for mistakes, because
Hmm.
mistakes help us grow.
They do.
And really, optimizing those opportunities for kids to learn from each other, because they all come from different experiences, have different backgrounds with the content that students are learning, and they have a wealth of knowledge to share as well. So that's something, student discourse strategies. There's so many. I mean, we could do a whole podcast on student discourse
We
strategies,
could.
and people have. And but that's some intentional, both learning on our staff's part, and then intentional planning as well in our lesson design.
Yeah, with the intentional planning is really where our teachers has put a lot of their energy. It takes a lot to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that we're planning for the needs and the various needs of our
Mm-hmm.
students
Mm-hmm.
within our classroom. So, we've really worked to identify the most essential standards,
Mm-hmm.
the ones that have leverage, the ones that are built upon from year to year to year, and making sure that we are designing learning in reading and writing and in math, that we are supporting our students in getting to mastery
Mm-hmm.
of these essential standards by the end of the school year.
Mm-hmm. I think Dr. Zala and I went to a conference this last summer, and I don't remember the exact amount of years, but I think it's something like 22 years.
22 years at least, yeah.
Just to get through the K-8 Common Core standards to mastery. That doesn't include a high school or college
It
at
doesn't.
all. So there's so much that we are asking both teachers to support students in learning, and asking students to learn. But this year, like Dr. Zelaya said, we're really focusing on those essential standards to intentionally lesson design for what is going to be the most effective for kids year after year after year.
Exactly. A lot of our time is being spent there. Okay, so the other thing that we've been really spending some time and energy on is identifying and eliminating our students' barriers to learning.
Mm-hmm.
So if they are having a struggling, or if they are not meeting growth targets, we really want to look to see what are those barriers that are getting in the way of students showing that growth that we would like them to see.
Mm-hmm.
So this is done again a
Mm-hmm.
lot through
Mm-hmm.
intentional planning
Mm-hmm.
and the
Mm-hmm.
practices that we're using,
Mm-hmm.
and really building relationships with our
Yeah.
students, because we need to know them as learners, as people, find out what they're interested in, so we can really look to capitalize on, once we identify what those are, and eliminate them.
Mm-hmm. So as we continue to get to know your students, both academically and personally, we really are trying to work with them to identify what is working for them in the classroom, but also what is not working for them. So is what are their preferences? when we do have student discourse opportunities, what do they like? What do they not like? Did this lesson excite you to participate today or not? And really getting feedback from our kids on how they are best learning in our classroom. And so we use this information to design future learning experiences for them. Again, as our teachers are collaborating together and having an opportunity for extended plan time, they are really using the information from kids to intentionally lesson design.
And I actually have love
Hmm.
being in a classroom when the teachers at the end of the lesson ask the students what worked for you,
Hmm.
what didn't work for you, and really taking note of that. And I got to tell you, kids are so
Yeah.
honest about it. Like they know what works and they know what
Hmm.
doesn't work. It's so
Hmm.
wonderful to see.
Yeah, and what was hard and what was a challenge. But also at the same time, part of our job as well is to support students in that productive struggle. So there are going to be things that, we can't cater to every single student, every single lesson of every single day. We can identify themes and trends of what's working and not working with our kids, but we also want to support our kids in that productive struggle as well, and to help them understand that mistakes, again, help them learn and grow, and that they can overcome these challenges that they are facing, both with the support of their peers as well as our staff here at Holmes.
Absolutely. So, our third goal is our goal around belonging. And so, we really wanted to ask the question well, let me back up.
Yeah.
Our students
Yes.
take a survey twice a year, and these are our students in third, fourth,
Hmm.
and fifth grade. They take a survey that is called a panorama survey. And basically, it asks a lot of questions that give us some information about how our students experience school. And so, based on the totality of our
Hmm.
data, we identified some areas within belonging and engagement, which is our next goal we'll talk about, where we had some growth opportunities.
Hmm.
And so, we pinpointed to one question where students answered less favorably than
Hmm.
other questions, and it was how well do people at your school understand you as a person. And so we had set a goal of 66%.
Hmm.
We had an increase of 7%, and we are currently at 57%, but we
Hmm.
will take the survey again in
April.
April.
Hmm.
And we'll be looking to see if we've reached our goal by that
Hmm.
point. But yeah, we did have some growth where we haven't met our goal yet, but this is actually an end of year goal.
Yeah.
So we are making some strides
Hmm.
at achieving this goal.
Hmm. And then our other goal that we are working on, our fourth goal, is our engagement goal. And again, based on the panorama survey, the question that we pinpointed from last year to focus on is in this class. And so that would be for students, their homeroom class. How excited are you to participate? And so we are up 3% from our score in the spring. So we're at 54% right now. And our goal for the end of the year is that 59% of our students respond favorably to this question. So, knowing that those are our two goals for belonging and engagement, again, we have been very intentional this year with providing students a variety of opportunities to experience engagement and belonging in different places.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the first things that we were so excited about kicking off this year through our Leader and Me initiative is student leadership clubs in third through fifth grade. And we actually just finished the first round of leadership clubs where students had an opportunity to choose their top three out of 21 choices. And they engaged in these clubs 7 times for 30 minutes every other week. And we are going to be starting round two in 2 weeks. And students have the opportunity to, again, either stay in the same club or choose another club of preference. And the students have given us really great feedback in terms of, did they feel like they learned some leadership skills? Were they excited to participate in these clubs? And so we're really thrilled to continue moving forward with these opportunities for our students to feel like they belong to another space here at school, and also to get to know kids in third through fifth grade that they might not have the opportunity to do so in other spaces, as well as to get to know other staff members.
And so if families don't know what some of our clubs are, like
Mm-hmm.
I know I have the privilege of um, facilitating or supporting the student assembly leaders. And so
Mm-hmm.
we have students who design
Mm-hmm.
our assemblies each
Mm-hmm.
month. We are working on our Black History Month assembly, which is going to
Mm-hmm.
be coming up next week. But we are, that's just one club. We
Mm-hmm.
have our Go Green Club that's
Mm-hmm.
working on our our
Zero waste,
composting,
yeah.
zero waste. That's the word.
Initiative,
Yeah, our
yeah.
zero waste
Mm-hmm.
initiative.
Mm-hmm.
We have, I
Our
mean,
kindness
kindness
club
club.
that goes around our school and does random acts of kindness all over our school. It's so exciting. I lead the student teachers club. So these are third through fifth grade students that go into our K-1-2 classes and support teaching Leader and me. And I have to tell you, those kids they do not want to switch clubs, and they want to stay in that club, and they want to go back in their K-1-2 classrooms. They're like our
Awesome.
little student teachers now. So it's been very exciting, and we will continue to learn from our students about what worked and what didn't work for their clubs, and give them different opportunities to experience school in another way here. So it's
Mhm.
really great. Another thing that we are intentionally planning and designing are our Hawk's Nest lessons, and those are once a month. And again, that is where students from K through 5 are mixed up all over the school with all of our staff members. Except for I think Miss Krakow and Nurse G, because we need them in the office. But
Yeah,
everyone else
everyone
has
else.
a Hawk's Nest with about 10 to 12 kids, ranging from kindergarten to fifth grade. And Miss Anderson and myself and Dr. Zelaya really intentionally, we're going to keep using that word, plan our Hawk's Nest to support our engagement goal and our belonging goal, and then also plan based on student voice. And we just had a student voice group that shared that they would like to see more kindness in our school. So our next Hawk's Nest is a direct result of hearing what students need, and we will be talking about belonging and kindness in our next Hawk's Nest.
And then part of our engagement with our community is sending information like our wonderful video podcast that I
Yeah.
know that you guys all love and listen to and look forward to. So we do that and make sure that we have like that weekly communication that includes this information for you. So you
Mhm.
kind of really know what's going on in the
Mhm.
school and how we're doing towards like the goals that we set for ourselves.
Mhm. And then again, in addition, we've talked about project-based learning over the last couple of years, and how lucky we are to actually have that scheduled in our weekly schedule for all students to experience project-based learning, no matter what grade level they're at, and what they're learning about. And then also extended support with our plus plus students through some win time and work with Mrs. Anderson.
Mhm.
And then finally, again, to promote our engagement goal and our belonging goal, some professional learning that our entire staff is doing is through choice book clubs during our staff meetings. And we've dedicated a portion of every single staff meeting this year to having our staff collaborate together on a choice book to support engagement and belonging here at our school. So, some of the things we already mentioned earlier were student discourse, project based learning, small group instruction, and then that being the change is that focus on that belonging here at school. So,
Mhm.
we are doing a lot of intentional things to try to support meeting and exceeding our goals for this year.
We absolutely are. So that is going to conclude this week's
Mm-hmm.
episode, and we hope to be back with you in another week or so, or probably a couple weeks, with some more information that aligns to some of the feedback that you gave us of things that you want to learn more about. So thank you for tuning in, and have a great week. Bye
Thank you. Bye
bye.
bye.